Did you just say, "Here we go, somebody do it"?
What you said? We're live.
Like,
Welcome
start,
to
you
the
know?
Late Sesh.
There you go. Thanks for going. That Fergoli got it.
Somebody do this.
He's like, I'm gonna sit back and hit this bong. Now that's what I'm doing. So take it away, gentlemen.
Cheers, everyone.
Is that
Cheers,
a garlic?
chat.
This
Yeah,
is garlic, fresh out of our garden. You can see it shows the
shit
roots.
looks
Some dirty
nice.
microbes on there. But yeah, this is freshly peeled garlic clove. Super big, chunky,
Hell yeah, dude.
Very nice.
fragrant, ultra fragrant.
Some good IPM right there.
We
It's
got
a freshly
the
charged turbometer. First time I've
starting with
charged
the
it.
fresh turpometer. We got Red and Becca. They're gonna show us their pickling tonight. They're pickling some cucumbers or whatever.
We're preserving. We're doing water bath tanning with a vinegar brine for long distance. We have too many pickles for like a couple of weeks, so we need to preserve them. And we actually still have pickles from last year. We did the
Oh shit!
preserving in August. So we still
I've got a 2-year-old that would love some.
Make some relish out of them.
You.
We've got
How do you not like relish? Get
really
out
hot jalapenos. We've got some big old garlic cloves. We've got some serrano peppers and
onions.
lots of dill springs right here. We've got dill seeds from our past garden. This is 2022, so we'll be adding those. Let's see, yeah. So in front of me, I have some peppercorn that is not from our garden. We got a little baggie of peppercorn here. Some peppercorn, and then mustard seed is the other ingredient on this list. So the mustard seed and the peppercorn are the only things that are not out of the garden. If we want spicy pickles, we're going to add jalapeno. If we want mild pickles with no spice, we're going to add notapeno. Yep, that's right. That's a jalapeno without spice, so a notapeno. And it just has like a slight jalapeno flavor with more like a green pepper heat level, so not much at all. So we'll call those the mild and the hot. And then for a medium spice, we have the serrano, all harvested out of our garden. We've got a whole thing of pickles here that we've been getting over the last maybe week or so.
What kind of pickles are they?
Older. All of the more crisp, more recent ones that we picked are right here in
Sounds
front
like
of
dill pickles.
And we've actually just done.
I mean, what kind of cucumbers?
These are still incredibly hot, so I'm gonna put my hand bringing them to you. But these just came out of the water bath, so these are still hot.
Nice and vacuum sealed.
I'm gonna set it down before I drop it.
Don't burn
I
yourself.
have more jars.
Nobody
in the
said
water
that.
bath, sterilizing.
Don't
Once
forget
they're
to bring
done
a towel.
sterilizing, I'll start packing the jars, and then we'll disappear again and put them back in the water bath. So.
Excuse me, sir. I would like to know what kind of pickles you grew. I mean, cucumbers.
Cucumbers are Boston pickling cucumbers, or pickling specifically.
And some of them are from our garden.
The seeds are from our garden.
Yeah.
So these are all non-GMO, all organic seed sourced locally and trustworthy through our garden.
Now, I'm sure you're going to take us through the whole process, but because you gave us the spoiler alert already of a very hot jar that's hard to handle, why are you heating up and doing a hot water bath in your finished pickle jars, Red? What does that do? What does a hot water bath do? Can you
Seals it,
explain
man.
It seals it. It also kills bacteria.
for the
Make
people.
sure that you don't get botulism. You don't want botulism because these are going for long-term storage. If we were just going to do fermenting, the fermentation is only going to give us a couple of weeks to a couple of months worth of shelf life, even in a refrigerator. And that's just salt and water. You can ferment anything in just salt and water, but you're only going to get at most a good couple of months of shelf life. If we want a good shelf-stable product, we can't fit 30 jars of pickles in our refrigerator. We don't have any other cooling devices, so we need shelf-stable, room temperature stable. So we're doing vinegar brine and hot water bath.
And that'll last how long not being in the refrigerator?
A couple years. This, according to the USDA, it's probably a good 12 to 18 month, but a good.
Can't trust that. Can't trust that. I just saw a thing on Netflix. Can't trust that.
Oh no, this movie again. So I've got to ask, what's the difference? You said a vinegar, hot, some salt brine or something for the ones you're doing now because you want to do room temperature
longevity,
stable.
you're just doing
But
salt
my
brine.
question is, what is the difference between a shelf stable at room temperature pickle recipe versus a recipe that would require refrigeration? Because I am very particular about my pickles, and there's only one brand that I enjoy really at all, and it's refrigerated from the grocery store.
Well, if you want any kind of microbes or probiotics in your pickles, then a vinegar brine is going to kill all of that. So a salt brine is going to give you probiotics. It's going to actually be a true fermented product, but it's not shelf stable at room temperature. It has to be refrigerated in order to keep those microbes alive, active, and to keep out the unwanted bacteria.
And you guys would legit need half a refrigerator just for the pickles you have here in front of you.
Yeah. We've already done, a few dozen pickles as it was. We have this is a roasting pot in front of us filled with some water. We're trying to bring back some of the crispiness on some of the ones these are harvested within the last probably week to 10 days. So some of them have some little wrinkly butts that we're going to cut off and discard. A lot of this stock will get turned into probably circles.
I was going to ask if you're doing slices or spears or halves or
spears, but it kind of depends on the size of the pickle. If it's a little round football, we'll make round slices, sandwich slices out of it. If it's a nice straight pickle, we'll cut it into spears out nicely. If it's a really curvy fucker, we'll probably cut it into circles and give it that type of shape also. And then there's also, don't forget that you can just block up your cucumber too and just make little chunks and blocks. And however, you got to pack those jars nice and tight, filled with as much vegetable matter as you can, get it in there.
Do you need to leave headspace in these jars?
A good 1/2 inch of headspace. But you also want all of your pickles covered. So you need a 1/2 inch of headspace for just the boiling process alone. And then you just want to make sure that everything's covered. Anything sticking out gets it's not a for sure thing. It's just more susceptible to be poking out. And if you have any sorts of bacteria, botulism forming, it's going to catch that top first. You might lose your crispiness on that also. Mm-hmm. But otherwise, I've had pickles sticking out of the brine, man, just kind of one buoying up, year. No big deal. I've eaten it, no big deal. Tastes fine, tastes great. I'm excited for this round because we caught all of our pickles at a much more of a green stage. They sit on the counter, more importantly, they sit in the sunlight on the counter. If you put them in the dark space, they'll be okay. But they go a little more yellow, and when that starts to happen, they get a little more bitter. They lose their sweetness. The pickles still taste fine. They're sitting in a salt and vinegar brine, so you're going to get most of that's going to cut your flavor, but you still can get really, really kind of bitter type of pickles that way. This taste will somewhat transfer over.
Mrs. Fagroli taught me something this year with cucumbers and harvesting them, and I don't remember what they're called, but the little pokey things on the side of them, apparently once those kind of go soft, that's the time to harvest. Have you heard that before?
No, I haven't heard that one. That's a pretty cool one. We got some slicing cucumbers that are a little bit longer, and those ones are more for fresh salads. We won't be of those, but those ones are very pokey. They're like a little cactus. And I haven't really noticed when they've gone bad, but most of our vines kind of get taken out by the weather in the season, the climate, moth, squash bugs, all that other fun stuff. So we need to start doing a second succession of cucumbers this time of year and get them rolling and just pull out the old. We get a great harvest, but then the plant just dies off. You get Septora kicking in this time of year with the tomatoes and all the water, and so. It's just kind of unavoidable when you're doing a system like ours.
Septoria is a fun one.
You're not spraying any fungicide or anything. It just comes on. It happens every year. So the best bet is to just manage with more plants and just keep planting. Just don't stop planting. Just keep fucking putting in the ground.
Did I share on? I don't think I did yet. The video of the deer in my garden. Did I share that?
I don't know if it's aired on the show. I think I saw it on your
I want to share this real quick as an introduction of what you're doing here, because you guys might not, we all deal with different things as farmers, but this is what I've been dealing with. I moved my coop camera to my garden just to see exactly what was eating everything, and you just had me thinking. I'm like, man, with these cucumbers, like we kind of knew it was time to harvest, and the chickens seemed like to know at the same time it was time to harvest because they got into them pretty much the same time we did. And the deer kind of do the same thing. So I'll play this real quick.
Who's that rapper in your ear? Oh, dear, the fallow deer. That's who's up in here. The fallow deer is a Dharma. That's the kind of deer I am. No drama. I'm known worldwide. I'm identified by my chestnut color, white spots on my side. I graze in the grass. I laze in the grass. I like to spend all my days in the grass. An acorn.
Yeah, so they just plowing through our garden lately. It's great, good times.
I was waiting that whole time for a gunshot. There was nothing.
It's not the legal season yet, Spartan. But trust me, I was thinking about that about 2 hours ago.
On your own property.
Okay, bow shot.
The Liberty Hunt isn't far away.
It's destroying your crops.
As long as they're in threat of your life.
I'm saying.
So I've thought long and hard about this. I'm not interested in breaking the law in that way, but I'm definitely interested in trying to tackle and or ride the thing because I'm pretty confident I could get close enough to do that.
Before you do, Google deer attack videos just to see what you're going up against.
Oh, I have family members that have taken. I shouldn't say members. I know of one family member of mine that has taken down a deer with his bare hands on a knife. It was a buck.
Sweet. Better have him with you then.
I'm not saying I'm capable of that, but I would love to at least try to ride the thing. It might not come back after that. I'm hoping, because guess what? October ain't too far away.
Yeah, I don't know how you deal with that without
Dude, I've looked it up. I mean, I honestly, the garlic spray does help. So without actually murdering the thing, but I'll call it harvesting because I would use every little bit I could, of that. But
I would hang its skin up from the tree so all its buddies could tell
while it's
what
still
they were
breathing.
getting into.
I mean, I'm okay with them coming around. Just don't eat my garden, man. Eat the other stuff.
No, there's no reason for them to come around.
But he held that garlic clove up earlier. I think he's got it in his hands right now. And I take those and mash, really just put them in a food processor and then put it in about, a liter or two, depending on how many you're using, of water, and then use that as concentrate to fill up a 5-gallon sprayer and roll around the yard, spraying perimeter lines around my gardens. It works wonders, to be honest with you. For most things, it doesn't last incredibly long, especially if you got a lot of rain and stuff, but it does keep things away and makes your backyard smell like a Italian restaurant or something. I don't know. It's if you like the smell of garlic, it's awesome. But
fences also work really
good.
Yeah,
we have a fence that keeps out squirrels and rabbits because that's been a big problem over the last few years. But of course, a deer can jump over like a 6-foot fence. So I'm not putting up an 8-foot fence around my garden. It's just not going to happen. We've talked about putting up
over 6 foot.
How about a 6-foot fence? You already have a 6-foot fence around it,
privacy fence.
Sorry, say again, Spartan?
Did you say you already have a 6-foot around it?
No, we have I think it's only like a 3-foot fence. It's just enough to keep chickens and rabbits and squirrels and whatnot out.
Mm-hmm.
So here's a couple of things that I've thought of, other than like the IPM, like garlic spraying and whatnot. You can get an automatic sprinkler that's basically motion activated. We can throw up a couple scarecrows, which will probably help with other things and other kinds of like noise making type, wind blowing, whatever.
Does that motion action work at night?
Adopt a wolf.
Yes, it would work at night. It would have to be like probably solar operated or whatever, but same with a light, like a solar operated motion light. We could do something like that.
No, I'm saying, does it see motion at night? I guess.
Yeah, it would. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, dogs. We have dogs. I let her out, and she chases them off all the time. But they, they'll come out at 5 a.m. when we're not, even awake yet. Actually, that video I showed you was 5:36 in the morning, I think.
Are you a hunter?
Of course.
Maybe a few not bait piles around to draw them away from your garden and to another more optimal place for them to hang out.
I mean, it's not really possible. If I had hundreds of acres or something to divert them,
Baiting is no longer allowed in Michigan.
I know, that's why I said it's not a bait pile, Red.
I don't bait my deer.
Let me explain the legal way of doing it. It's called a food plot. There you go.
There you go.
That's the problem, though. I built a food plot for my family,
don't
and they
bait
found
my
it.
deer.
You gotta grow
just
some
feed
pumpkins
'em.
on the other side of your property.
Pumpkins?
Just
Yeah.
put in.
We have those in the same plot.
Put in a little patch of field corn. They'll hang out over there instead.
Let me ask you this:
So that's what we did
if you put
last
a
year.
bird feeder in your yard, is that baiting birds?
We're not shooting
Yeah.
birds, though. This is.
You have a salt lick on there for the birds,
Yeah,
and the deer just happen to hang around.
You can
Yeah, I
feed
was
the deer.
feeding the birds.
No, you could legit feed the deer. It's just like having it's like the amount of feed you're supposed to use over certain square footage. There's all these rules like that too. But yeah, for baiting purposes of
sounds like
hunting and killing them.
Russia.
Yeah, pretty much, man. Welcome to the DNR. You're muted.
not-
Spring.
It's just
Do
a
not
compost pile. It's
resuscitate.
not a bait pile, officer.
Yeah,
That's where I throw all my carrots. I don't like carrots.
I give them apples.
Yeah, they've been eating the tops of our carrots. They've been eating a lot of our bean plants, just like the leaves. They love the leaves, the stems, not necessarily the beans themselves, which is weird.
So they're jumping the fence to get in there then.
Yeah, yeah. Here's the thing, that 3-foot fence is surrounded by like a 5-foot fence. And, but like I said, they'll jump a 6-foot fence with no problem. Even at 8-foot fences. I mean, that's pretty much what
If you got
like,
a
your minimum.
5-foot fence, you put a little hot wire on top of that about a foot, and they're gonna fucking not like that.
It's already hooked up, dude. Legit, it's already hooked up.
And they're clearing that.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. Like, so I've thought about that. I thought about putting it around my garden itself because it's a lot less expensive to wire up a small food plot than it is like an entire pasture, right? I thought about I've already got posts there, right? T-posts to hold this fencing up. Thought about just extending those up and then putting 3 feet above that or 2 feet above that or something, a electric wire, to keep them out or something. It's just like, how much am I going to invest into?
Ammo's not that expensive. That's all I'm saying.
What's that? Ammo.
It's not that expensive.
Is it illegal to shoot them with a paintball gun?
No, airsoft. I got a really nice airsoft.
Did I even have one of those like calls, like coyote calls and stuff like that? Which
So you can put out coyote pee.
Yeah. There's a lot of urine that would probably help, but I also don't want to bring coyote onto my property.
Just piss yourself out there.
Yeah, save
don't
all
think I
your.
do. Actually, my
family
dog
pee.
does it a lot. It's funny.
Like, listen, family,
It's
we're
all-
gonna start saving our
Around your
pee.
garden, he does.
No, it's actually around the chicken coop. I think she's seen enough raccoons and predators around the chicken coop. Now she goes over there and marks, which, it's a girl. So I don't know if that's exactly what she's doing, but she likes to go pee by the chicken coop. Maybe it's because they get all the treats now. It's her way of just saying F you to them, maybe.
Yeah, I'm sure there's some little tips and tricks and stuff, but you need a big ass fence or shoot those fuckers. I think that's my 2 options.
Denial and Aaron Chat says fishing line, they won't jump over it because they can't see it. I've actually heard that too. That's another thing I thought about doing instead of just hot wiring, and not hot wiring, but you know what I'm saying, like electrical fencing it. It's just putting up some fishing line or something like that.
If they can't see it, then what? They jump over
They're
it
gonna
anyway.
walk into it and
I
take
don't
it
know.
out.
Well, it depends on the age of the deer. I'll tell you that much. I've seen Bambis catch themselves in fences
They
two
do.
to 3 times a year for the last
Yeah.
like,
That's what
5
I'm
years.
saying, like,
Wow.
But then I've seen like 2-year-old deer jump ridiculously high fences.
you go out there and there's a decapitated deer because it ran straight through the fishing line.
Oh,
Yeah.
Easy harvest, I
supposedly,
guess.
supposedly the deer just have terrible depth perception, so they don't know how tall anything is visually. They have to like see it. They have to like touch it or something like that.
is it like a rabbit where if they can't see the other side of it, they won't jump over it?
yeah, something like
Like
that?
where
So-
they're gonna land or something?
not so much the other side, but the height of it. If they can't see the height of it, they won't jump over it. So if
Okay.
they sense that it's taller than what they're able to jump, they won't jump. So like all they have to do is sense
Listen.
the fishing line up
Listen,
8 feet tall, and they won't jump over.
I googled it. on average, a deer can jump 12 feet high if it's running.
Yeah, those things are
12
ridiculous.
feet. Standing still, on average, 6 to 8 feet.
I was gonna say standing.
There's no point in fences.
They jumped over our truck when we were driving down US 12 on the way home. We I don't know, we had the truck for a month, and like we're going down US 12, and there's a herd of about 4 deer, like a buck chasing like 3 doe, and it was, I don't know. No, we had the truck for a little longer. It was like August, September. It was prime season, dude. They're just herding out, and they're coming. I see them coming from across the field. I'm like, oh fuck, oh fuck, oh fuck. Our trajectory is like lining up perfect. You know what I mean? And I started kind of like thinking about slowing down. There was a couple other cars behind me. And at that last second, man, we also had the top back. The top was all the way back. So these fuckers jump and just like, boo, 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 all 4 of them, like right over the truck, right in front of us and over the top. I'm like, oh, you motherfuckers are going to end up inside the truck.
Like a Disney movie.
I was just waiting for one of them to pop right in through the fucking top, tear the fuck out. Just like, what was it, like Tommy Boy or some shit, or Black Sheep, where that deer is in the car and it tears the shit out of that soft top of that.
Yeah, Tommy Boy.
I was just waiting for that to happen, man. I was like, oh, this is gonna be terrible. The dog was in the car. Like, this is gonna be a fucking mess. It missed us, but it jumped right the fuck over us, dude. It was crazy. They had a good.
That's when you need a dash cam, dude.
I really wish I had a dash cam, dude. It was really impressive.
We were like, I was bracing for impact. I really thought
I thought we were gonna get hit, dude.
So I was like,
they're like, you're not gonna hit me. I'm gonna jump the fuck over you. Like, later. Like, oh my god, did you see that? Yes, of course I saw that. Oh my god, did you see it though?
I've seen a deer from flight, like what Bake said, they can do 6 foot. I think they can. I saw them clear a 6 foot pasture fence, standing still, just sat. I was driving a truck down the side of the fence, down the side of the fence, down the pasture, and it seen me coming, and it just fucking flat jumped over the fence like it was nothing.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
Yeah. It's like a deer, or it's like a gazelle on a horse kind of thing, Like,
yeah.
Daddy Red holds his high school long jump record from like 1968 or 69 or something like that, maybe 67. And I don't know, Daddy Red was like 23 feet, 24 feet was his long jump, and he held that record. And then the high school actually closed down, so it's a forever standing record that will never be beat. So pretty impressive, I have to admit.
Nice.
Yep.
Are you saying your dad is part deer?
Oh yeah. We have legs like an antelope.
sturdy.
But they're only 2.5, possibly 3 feet tall at best, but they have a vertical of at least 6 feet. I used to actually be able to jump up onto there was a countertop that's this tall. It was up about this tall on me. And I used to freestanding, no hands, jump up and get up on that thing with my work boots on.
When you were a child?
No, this was when I was like 25 years old.
With work boots too.
Work boots, yeah. It was
those be heavy.
Let me ask you this.
It's a rollerblading thing. You know what I mean? You know how to lift and tuck. My ass is only about getting up that high too. You know what I mean? But that's, I wouldn't say that my head is like 16 feet in the air or anything like that. Certainly not. But my legs can get up there.
All right, Kobe, relax. I'll brag a little bit too. The first time I dunked on a 10-foot rim, I was 14 years old.
I cannot touch a 10-foot rim.
It was with high school basketball, though. I'll be honest. It wasn't full men's basketball.
That's the.
You're hella tall, though. Come on.
Yeah.
I definitely have that going for me. Not extremely athletic, but I got some height.
Oh, we're
I
tall.
could barely catch the net. Snag in the net, fall backwards, crush my head.
How high can you jump, Spartan?
High enough.
Wherever I gotta go, I can get to.
On a basketball, I could go up and grab the rim, but I don't think I can dunk anymore.
I bet you had like a near 30-inch vert in your day.
I don't know, man. I got some chicken legs.
Yeah, but that just means all the less you got to put up in the air, you know? Like,
Yeah, I guess suppose.
I had a 27-inch vert, but I was like 260 pounds, you know? Like,
See, the opposite of me. You'd have bigger calves. I had no calves to push me. It just sticks down there.
That's my problem. I have these like tree stump calves that.
That's gonna get you that vertical, man.
mhm.
Yeah, all the guys on my dad's 40 and older baseball league would stand around and like make fun of me with my calves because they were all bigger than all those guys on the team. My dad and me had the biggest calves on my dad's 40 and older baseball team. It is quite a sight to see.
I'm willing to bet you got bigger calves than me. It's not it's not in my calves that I got. I had it in the quads. I used to be able to squat ridiculous amounts, but it was not in the calves. Trust me, I got little chicken legs down there too.
Got these little strange. I don't know where they came from. I don't know if it's my mom's side or my dad's side, but I also like played hockey and rollerbladed my entire life, so I was always just using my legs.
That hockey is a big one, man.
Leg workouts my entire life. I was like squatting 300 pounds in middle school, having fun like that.
Jeez, what?
Yeah, dude. Yeah, I was putting a couple 45s up on each side, squatting. That was a lot of fun. That was in middle school. That was like 8th or 9th. I stopped working out. I never hit the gym after like probably high school.
How much could you lift?
No, I couldn't lift anything. This was squatting. This is my legs.
Yeah, that's whole body lifting, you know. That was my best thing. That's my problem is like I'm tall, but I had the leg strength to do and the core strength to do squats. I get a ridiculous amount, but my bench press because I'm so long in my arms like was garbage, you know.
I'm sorry, leg press. Leg press was +3, not squat. Squat was.
See, you're squatting in middle school. I don't even think I knew what that was until like freshman year of high school.
That is like so fucking
a leg press though.
backbone crushing. To think you're squatting.
That's why you're so short.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I have a hard time lifting anything nowadays. It's fucked. I've been DJing and throwing equipment and shit around so much. My back and my fucking stomach blow out all the time, dude. It's fucked.
My max bench was 315. I don't think I could even get close to that.
Yours was?
Yeah.
Jeez, dude, that's probably what mine was.
Chicken arms, legs, dude. What do you mean chicken legs?
I used to that wasn't legs, that was arms, but
Jesus,
I used to like amateur weightlift, bodybuild,
like
whatever.
That's that cartoon
Threw up my shoulder, and that was the end of that.
for body and those little bitty legs.
So
You see that a lot, honestly. You do see that a lot.
So you were Olympic lifting, huh? Like, did you do like deadlifts and stuff?
Yeah, I did all free weight stuff. I
What
did a
was
lot of
your-
free weight.
Any idea what your deadlift was?
Oh, I crushed my very first deadlift. I did 315 deadlift first time. First time ever trying to deadlift.
That's insane, dude.
Yeah,
That
the
is
deadlift
insane.
that one came like kind of pretty easy to me.
How old were you when you were doing this?
In my 20s.
You got any pictures of you when you were in your 20s?
Unfortunately, they're on my ex-wife's Facebook. But yeah,
Oh.
there's one. My favorite picture of it is her holding my bicep, my right biceps held up like this, and she's got both her hands around it, and they're still not touching.
Yeah, I had them like 21-inch pythons.
I was just like,
I need to be careful of picking up like half that weight, or I would feel like I'm gonna blow a testicle. At least,
but I mean, I got so sick of eating. To be honest, that's the hardest part of that shit is just fucking eating all the time. And it's just like, how much chicken can you eat before, you know?
Oh, chicken's not good for you.
What do you mean? Get the hell out of here.
Unless you got your own chickens like Red and Becca, chicken's the worst.
no.
I
Well, yeah,
just
if you get
watched
some big.
All right, we get into the. Are we getting,
Purdue. There's
are we
two
getting-
chicken. By the way, there's two chicken suppliers in the country
Tyson.
that supply the eggs, and then
Oh.
they supply to 4 chicken companies: Purdue, Tyson, and
Big.
they're trash, dude. E.
I'm
coli
glad-
everywhere, salmonella everywhere.
Sounds
I'm
like
glad
every industry.
you were finally jumping into the conversation that we've been discussing for the last 3 years. Maybe
Yeah.
2 and a
I
half.
told I did the poison
You-
documentary.
You've been.
That's what got you, huh? Netflix doc.
You've been switched.
Well, it's just. I knew the
When your
project
friends,
shit was
when your
happening,
friends
but
are
it's
saying it,
delicious.
you don't want to hear it. But if it's on a Netflix doc, by God,
Forget
Yep,
that.
there's science backed on
Because
there.
Trust the big brother over
There's
here.
no, persuasive. What is it?
Do they talk about glyphosate though? We didn't.
Probably
couldn't watch
not,
it all.
dude. No, they look like they're.
No, but there's a lot more. I mean,
basically
glyphosate or
creating-
glyphosate's bad, but there's so much
yeah,
shit out
yeah,
there.
that shit that you sprayed in your yard not that long ago, that glyphosate fake.
Yep.
Yeah, that stuff.
This person
I don't
saved all
care.
these people from
I guarantee you've sprayed it once before in your life.
In my life, maybe. I don't know. I'm sure it's
Yeah,
been around. I'm sure it's been around my whole life, so I think that it's possible. I did work on a
Oh,
farm, but we didn't spray that.
Oh no.
Or I didn't work on the sprayer or whatever. I worked on harvesting the shit and planting it.
Yeah, you were the one that was like reaping the quote unquote benefits of glyphosate as you're harvesting.
Exactly. I'm getting up close and personal.
Yeah.
No, it was a small farm. I don't think they did much spraying of anything.
Yeah, I was on a
Didn't they
lived
have-
on a farm for a little bit, and it was kind of cool because it was like a, I guess, certified organic or whatever farm, which just literally all it was they just never sprayed anything ever. Like they just pretty much all I had to do for what they were farming, just never had to spray anything. Easy enough. Just don't go buy that shit.
make sure you wash it.
I don't know, man. They had you pick strawberries. They had raspberries there. We planted a whole field of tomatoes usually every year, broccoli, and I don't know. Maybe they just did it when I was there, but I've never seen them spray a damn thing on it.
How big of a farm, like acres, do you know?
Fuck if I know. I just went one down one dirt road, and I would say, if I had to guess, I'd say it's under. I'd say 50 or under. 50 or under. Somewhere in that neck of the woods.
It's good size.
Because he had probably 3-4 track. He had a tractor graveyard that was fucking awesome. Like all the I call it tractor graveyard, but it was all the equipment that he had parked. You know.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So, but he had
all
that
outside,
in, like one field. Yeah, he just had it parked outside in one of his other fields. Just all fucking. Yeah.
You guys ever been to Blake's? I'm sure there's many like it, but I think it's called Blake's Cider Mill in like Romeo-ish around there. It's like 36 Mile and like K-Pack Road or something up there. It sounds similar to what you're talking about, but they have, so it's Blake's apple cider. If you've ever heard of that, it's on the shelves all over now. It's one of those, ciders, alcoholic ciders or whatever. They've got a couple locations, I think, now, but it started off as like this literal cider mill, apple farm, whatever. And now you pick literally everything. It's like you said, probably 30, 40 acres of just vegetables and stuff you can pick, probably another 20, 30 acres of stuff they're probably harvesting themselves. And then another like 10, 15 acres of entertainment. They now have yeah, man, they've got a bar and a restaurant with their own license, like a booze license now, so they're selling their own ciders and stuff. They've got they got the hay rides and all that kind of stuff. They've got a giant petting zoo / playground / just a farm. It's like go to the take your family to the local farm fun day, the little cider mill or whatever. But yeah, hay rides, donuts, apple cider, all that good stuff. And I know there's a bunch of them around Michigan, but that was one of the kind of local-ish ones to me that comes to mind. And I always thought it'd be cool to do something like that and something like maybe what you were just talking about, but cannabis friendly, just like legally licensed, whatever you got to do to like just include cannabis in that,
That sounds great.
Pipe dream. I know.
Yeah, the only asterisk or whatever the caveat to that, how difficult that would be, because you have to time harvest. So to have a U-pick, it has to be ready for harvest, right? And that window for cannabis is kind of a small window.
I don't necessarily know if it has to be a you pick situation in terms of harvesting, but just to have the whole experience of being able to see what you can see and do what you can do and experience it on site and go do other things while you're there. Like
see some of the grow.
Sure, maybe it's greenhouses, maybe it's a hemp maze, you know what I mean, instead of a corn maze, like all that kind of stuff. Like I could just see a lot of that being incorporated, like the cannabis side of things being incorporated into something like that. And I think it'd be something that is it's feasible for, probably any of us, you know what I mean, to put something together like that. I'm not saying that we got, 50 acres handy to do something like that, but
Right.
I don't know. I always thought that would be a fun, like, kind of business concept.
It would, but it's what makes cannabis so hard is that it forces you to go, you're already adults only from the get. So you're already, cutting the market down right there. And then with the regulations that they have, that they really tie your hands on trying to be creative with it, if you ask me. But that's not set in stone. Those are things that you can, the CRA has monthly meetings where they take public comment, and you can, voice your concerns there, and hopefully they listen and change some things. And they've been making changes, maybe not all good, but some changes. And
can you tell us about any of those off the top of your head? Recent ones?
No, I don't remember anything. It's generally negative stuff usually that I've been seeing, so it's not.
I've seen a lot. Yeah, I've seen a lot of people a lot of businesses getting fined, which they're regularly doing that, just checking people regulatory wise. But
no, there's been way more than that. So
it's been ramped up, and I've seen a couple licenses get fully shut down without the ability to ever renew, and it's kind of interesting.
and owners barred from ever having another license.
Not
only that, yeah. So, but it's like ever since this new director took over, is it Brian Hanna?
I think so. The ex-cop.
Yeah, he's an ex-police
What do you
officer,
expect?
right? So then, and he's coming in saying he's going to start enforcing things, and that's obviously happening. As you see, he's hired a bunch more people, much more agents to go ruin more people's days apparently. But to be fair, of the things that I've read on most of them, I haven't seen too many any questionable things, but it was all everything that where these people have been shut down or have gotten these harsh penalties is because they've been fucking up for real. So it's not, I didn't see anything that was super arguable.
The biggest consequence,
importing Cali distillate,
yeah, stuff like that, or like you can't prove that, but they can't prove where they got it from, kind of thing.
Right?
Unmarked fucking 55-gallon drum of distillate, and things like that, things that haven't been tagged with metric tags. Or a big one is videos that you can't produce videos for the last X amount of time. That would substantiate whether it was obviously moved in.
Here's the problem. They'll be like, we want your footage for the last 30 days. The one company was like, oh, we don't have it or something. They didn't give it. It's just a $10,000 fine. And then and that's it. So let's say
that's not it. That's 10,000. That usually starts with a $10,000 fine.
That's where, yeah.
I'm just saying.
The investigation doesn't necessarily stop there, but it could. Yeah.
Okay. Well, yeah. Never mind then.
No, I see what you're saying. Like it could.
I didn't fit. You
You
could do 100K and what's 10K, and not give your footage.
Right.
And that's what they do, but.
It's like all these SEC violations. They hand out $5 million fines for $5 billion profits. You know what I mean? Like
well, I'm pretty sure, unless I have my stories crossed, but there was an outfit out of Detroit that was one of the ones that you're talking about for Gurley that was permanently banned. Started out getting a fine for that very thing, unmarked product, or not unmarked product, but not being able to produce the videos. And then they gave them a longer time to produce videos, and still didn't produce videos. And then,
well, okay. So let me give you a little bit more detail from what I recall. Is basically there was an issue. CRA came in, investigated it. They couldn't produce video footage for like a 2-day period. they're like, hey, you're supposed to let us know if you couldn't produce this. You know, here's a warning. Okay, all right, we're coming back, and you better have this video, issue fixed. They come back. The company was able to produce an invoice stating that their cameras were fixed, but they still weren't working 2 or 3 days after that invoice was paid, apparently. They were saying there was like issues with rats chewing the wires, whatever. So they had the security company come back like 2 or 3 times more, had invoices for all of them, still like had gaps in their camera system. And it just kind of like snowballed into, probably a bigger investigation of an ongoing thing. They didn't let up on them. And ultimately, they lost their license and the ability to operate in the future indefinitely, it sounds like.
Which, as far as the investors are concerned, they're probably losing out on money, but they can rebrand, get another owner to whoever. It doesn't even have to be somebody that works there. You know what I mean? Or they could put them in office there and just tell them to show up.
Well, if they're smart, they'll have exit clauses written in where if this guy breaches a contract like he did, he's just going to lose everything. I mean, whoever the investors are now own his shares, I'm sure.
Yeah. So the owner's the fall guy, and the investors hang out, and the business may still be able to survive under a different name, maybe.
Yeah, probably the same location though.
Yeah, probably same location.
So yeah, I get Baked what you're saying. I get what you're saying, Spartan. I think there's 2 kind of ways that could go. It seems like they're pushing a little bit harder with these investigations and stuff, and that's the first I remember of seeing that level of what's the word, punishment, I guess, you know what I mean,
Enforcement,
disciplinary.
discipline.
Why can't I say it right now? Disciplinary action.
Yeah, can't say it either, man.
Man, I need another dab, I guess. I don't know. Almost. Yeah, I get those updates. It's always interesting to see like monthly, and that list seems to be growing larger.
It gets big, man. Sometimes that list is long.
Yeah, and these people get, not just 1, but 2, 3, 4, 5 different, actions against them or whatever.
Yep, the one I see that comes up around here in Jackson is Choice Labs. So anyone
what happened with them?
I don't know. They got fined a bunch of money for I think it was the tagging thing. Either it wasn't tagged or it was tagged wrong. I can't recall. Who knows? But I know that Choice Labs I've seen several times on that fucking list getting fined. So
interesting.
Watch out for those guys.
They're a big op too. Like a huge op. That's probably, I don't know if they're still, but they were at one point the biggest processor in the state.
They were been sold several times too.
Yeah. So do we want to save that for after hash time? Maybe check in with Red and Becca about this whole like Hawthorne, Sunlight, Scott's thing we were talking about.
He's writing them. He's in the
writing stuff in jars, man. Kind of want to hear what's going on over there.
He's muted.
We're gonna need it.
He's like, I'm muted.
Throw a pickle at that mouse and unmute it. Really?
Oh, here comes
I'm not.
Thank you, producer Becca.
Thank you, Becca.
Yes.
She's on audio.
All right, let's hear it, Red. We'll mute ourselves so you can shout over us. I know you're kind of far away. It's a little bit challenging.
He's packing some pickles.
I'm packing pickles right now. Packing them nice and tight. Let's see. The shorter pickles are going in these shorter pint jars. I've only got a couple pint jars. And then most of them are much longer. But like you said, I want to give them a little bit of headspace. So that's kind of depend on which jar the pickle goes into. But I've already filled 5 quarts. And then I'm just topping off these last couple pints here. I got a couple serrano peppers to chop up to add to these couple ones here that I'm making as a medium spice. And I'm just now realizing that I haven't done any jalapeno. So I might have to do a little hot spice in one of these other ones here. Yeah, that's good. Or I might just have to save it for the next round. I think it might be what I do. Actually, I was thinking about doing the super hot ones in these little jars, wasn't I?
pickles all night.
Yeah, man. I think these 2 little jars should have.
So you putting garlic in all of them, Red? Then
Garlic clove
Yes.
is going, and each of the large ones has a garlic clove. They all have these jalapeno peppers, and then I have these other 2 here that I'm gonna add some serranos to make like a little bit of a mild pepper pickle. So add a little bit of serrano, and I'm like rough cutting these things. I'm like getting a little bit of the small chops, mince pieces, if you will, but then mostly some solid rounds on these peppers. And it's one is for aesthetics, the way it looks. The other is just time management. I don't have to chop as much. And I do like to keep all the seeds and everything. And these ones with a little bit extra spice. It's not going to add much spice, man. It actually kind of goes down a lot once the fermentation kind of happens. I might actually add these jalapenos to these ones. Make them a little bit more spicy. These smaller ones here.
Pumpkin spice jalapeno?
Yeah, this is a pumpkin spice jalapeno.
No.
Now, it's freaking hot, man. That's the one thing about it.
It's because they go orange.
They go orange, and I actually haven't let it go orange.
That's probably
These
why
ones,
it's so hot.
It probably is. They're probably a little bit premature. So what I'm going to do is these smaller jars, I'm going to get some pumpkin spice jalapeno. But yeah, an orange jalapeno. So I was kind of turned on by the color of it. Similarly, we did, we don't have them here for this batch of pickles, but we did red habanero. So I'm really excited to see how the red habanero peppers come out. Hope we don't get them confused with the scorpion peppers or the Carolina peppers, which are also red, but and kind of have a similar shape. But the shape of the habanero is a little bit different than the Carolina Reapers, and the Scorpions have a little longer of a tail. So got a couple Serrano, a couple with this jalapeno. And I'm not going to put a full one in there, but maybe I'll do some of this. Maybe I'll actually add some of this jalapeno to these guys too.
Are you sure?
Yeah, maybe a little extra spicy spice. Big guy. It gets cut down so much. I'm gonna have quite a few rounds. I'll add at least a couple rounds to these smaller jars.
How much dill are you gonna throw in there, Red?
I threw a couple flowers of dill in each one. Let's see. I toss a couple rings, pepper.
And then like a teaspoon of the seeds or a tablespoon of the seeds?
About only a quarter tablespoon, just because we don't have a whole ton of it. We want to kind of see how much we can let last. But a couple flowers, a couple of sprigs of dill, and then about a quarter to a half teaspoon of seeds. And then, thank you for reminding me, because I did not add the mustard seed. That is what I was missing. So I need a good half a teaspoon of mustard seed in each one of these big, small jars, and a little bit more in the big one.
I got a bag of dill seed right here from last year. It still smells so strong of dill. It's so awesome.
Dill is so prolific, man. It will continue to come back year after year. All you have to do is shake that dill top, and it'll come back everywhere. The mustard seed, we tried growing this year, and we do have some ripe mustard seed out there right now, just not enough. We don't have near the amount that we need. So I'm just going to give each one of these guys a little shaky shake. And I think that's it. I've got
Peppercorn.
garlic. Yep, garlic and just about all of them. This one here might not have a garlic clove. Oh yeah, no, it's in there. One in there. Big little garlic clove. So yeah,
garlic, dill, peppercorn.
Peppercorn, got those guys in there.
Mustard.
mustard.
Mustard seed.
Yep, mustard seed, and then pack them with the cucumbers, of course. Fit a couple more. It looks like a couple of these jars. You want to pack them nice and tight. You get all the air bubbles out and stuff as you go, but the object is to really get as much of these guys in here as possible. But you don't want to crush them. You know, you want to crush the little pickles. All right. So at this point, we don't want to like just hang around because these jars were sterilized, and the longer that we hang out and chit chat, the longer it gets a chance for bacteria to grow on the inside of the jars. So before they cool down completely, I'm gonna get
no
in
more
there,
talking.
and we're going to add the brine to them, cap them, and put them in the water bath. So we'll be right back.
Damn, I just saw Becca come in out of the kitchen like a bat out of hell and said, "So no more talking," coming towards the phone. I thought she was gonna mute him. I'm like, oh shit, she's serious. No more talking for you. Bam.
We are on a schedule. No more bacteria. Who do you? I always thought Red was the. He's got one more stuff in there. You didn't stuff it full.
What are we talking about now?
No, I thought Red was the germaphobe, but I'm thinking maybe it's Becca.
Oh, I don't think Red's a germaphobe. I stand corrected.
She's just supporting his needs. I get it.
Baked. You gonna answer the guy in chat where you got that pipe at?
I did. I don't know. It was at an event.
Oh, was it the Joe's Pipes? Was it the same place I got the twisted pipe?
Yeah.
That was Joe's Pipes.
Joe's Pipes. Yeah, I don't know.
There you
I
go.
don't remember that shit.
I do. Or it's Pipes with Joe, I think is what it's called.
Yeah, you have an Instagram?
Yeah, I think it's Pipes
Something.
with Joe. Something like that. Joe's Pipes or Pipes with Joe. Something like that.
If you could grow endless amounts of one vegetable, have it year round, just an endless supply from your own garden, what would it be?
Vegetable?
Damn.
Yes,
that's a
specifically
hard
a vegetable.
Like my go-to without thinking would be a tomato, but because you can make tomato sandwiches all year round, fuck yes. But I think that you don't like tomatoes. The hell's wrong with you?
Tomatoes are an ingredient. They're not a.
And then, but I think what my practical mind would say would be potatoes.
I was just thinking that's the only thing I will give a fuck about. Otherwise, I want to grow apples and grapes year round.
Yeah, we'll get to fruit. But
Oh, you should see my potato patch this year. It's fucking looking nice.
I was thinking about making my own kettle chips.
Yeah, you should.
You should.
It'd be good as fuck.
I gotta find the right slicer. That's the key.
First, you got to find the right kettle.
Well, I'll find a good kettle.
First, you gotta find the right potato.
I think I can rig up that pressure cooker up there. Pressure pot.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, I'm thinking. Initially, I was gonna say cucumbers, just because you can make pickles out of them.
Just water.
Honestly, it's because my 2-year-old just eats them all day long, whether it's cucumbers or pickles, and we just go through them like crazy. But I mean, we eat more peppers than like bell peppers than probably anything. And actually,
it would come
entire
down to either
family's
nutrition, flavor.
Well, right, pragma, like using pragmatism.
Like if you're picking peppers, it's because you want some flavor in your life.
100%.
But if you want, what is it? Broccoli, I think, has a shit ton of protein.
Yeah, density wise.
Like you would be hitting that, but it's not that great flavor by itself if you don't have salt.
Bullshit, man. Bullshit.
I
You
could
take
snack
that
on it all
broccoli,
day,
you cut it.
No butter? What if you didn't have butter?
I could eat it raw. I could eat it steamed.
Listen, bro. You just take that whole head of broccoli, you cut it lengthwise in half. You put those face down.
Bologna in between.
You can break it up
like a
if you want
sandwich.
to. Just drizzle it with a little bit of olive oil. Just drizzle it with olive oil. Crack pepper over that. little bit of Parmesan cheese.
Well, now we're
Put
adding whole ingredients to this
Put that
single
in it.
vegetable we're supposed to
Yeah,
live
what
off
happened to
of.
this dish?
Oil,
we made?
oil and pepper.
That's what I'm
Come
saying.
on.
All you
This
get
is like an
is
appetizer.
raw or cooked broccoli. So like
That's what I'm telling you, Haddock. Then you throw it in the fucking
you
oven.
just
and
added
bake it on top.
Parmesan and all that stuff. No,
Or if you don't want to have cheese on it, that's fine.
I'm
You can
saying
also
in
put
this
cheese on there.
scenario, oh my, this is a hypothetical. You're getting one vegetable to grow.
I didn't name any other vegetable. I aimed a vegetable, an oil.
Guys,
pepper.
I think you guys are thinking about this a little too pragmatically.
My pepper's gonna
Because
disappear out of my
it's not
cabinet.
that you're not going to have
What the
access
fuck?
to other vegetables. It's just that this is one that's coming from your garden year round that you can have access to all the time. And I think that is
Okay.
why I would
You just
choose
want it to be
peppers.
whatever you eat the most of.
Yeah,
because
it's
that's
going to be
where you're gonna get
peppers
the
or
most value.
cucumbers, honestly.
What's
Not-
a pistachio? Is that? That's a
Yeah,
fruit.
That's a
what is
tree
that?
nut.
A tree nut, yeah.
Tree nut.
Aren't nuts fruits?
No,
I think,
Aren't tomatoes fruits?
maybe tomato is a fruit.
All right. Well, speaking of fruits, what would
But I
you?
said
I mean,
potato.
it's not really a nut at all, by the way. Technically, it's a drupe.
what the
A
heck is a
fleshy tree
drupe?
fruit that contains a shell-covered seed.
That's what my eyes do after too many edibles.
So, pistachio is a fruit.
I mean, I'll
I grow,
take it.
like I
I grow
don't think-
pistachio year round.
Just like I don't think a peanut is a nut. I think a peanut is a legume, like a bean.
Yeah, I think you're right on that one. I think we looked it up once. Let's double check.
So you could do a peanut too if you really like peanuts.
Oh yeah, that's a good idea. Make my own. And you're saying for girl, I have access.
Yeah,
to salt.
dude, let's go.
Salt.
Grind it up. Make some peanut
I
butter.
have access to
Delicious.
salt and maybe a little sugar.
No, you don't need nothing.
Or you could just extract the
peanut.
oil and run your furnace in the wintertime from the peanut oil.
I'll do that on my own methane. Thank you.
You could do that too.
It's from all the legumes. I mean,
Yeah, they'll power that real good.
that's what I'm saying. I don't think a pepper is a fruit. No, it's a vegetable.
Oh really?
Anything with a seed in it is a fruit. Gosh darn it. A seed bearing. Okay, so then cannabis is a fruit.
Peppers are fruits because they contain tiny seeds in the middle and grow from the flower of a pepper plant. See? Our education in the fruits and the vegetable system is flawed.
Yeah,
I still stand by
I
my
run into this all the time.
Okay,
where
I
it's
still
like-
stand by my vegetable answer of potato. I don't think it can
I
really
still
compete.
stand by that as well because
I have purple potatoes going this year.
I kind of want to make some chips and French fries. Now.
Can I recommend a dish to make
I'm gonna look
with
up
those
kettle
purple
cooker.
potatoes? And if you're not going
Bro,
to,
I
do
have a whole patch of purple potatoes. I can make many dishes.
okay, bring those purple potatoes with you, and I'll make the rest of it. Because what we're gonna make is some pecan encrusted mahi mahi over a bed
guys.
of
You go
mashed
fuck
purple
yourself.
sweet
You
potato.
go fuck yourself with some fucking fish.
Well, fucking fine. I'll go just buy some purple mashed
Alright, guys,
potatoes
I
from the
found it
store.
already.
You should do that.
Jeez.
I'm gonna start a
That's-
GoFundMe.
Desecrate my potatoes with fish. Yeah.
Oh,
This is my potato
please.
chip factory already. I'm gonna get. It's only $15,000
Factory.
on
Have some
Alibaba.
flavor in your life.
I'm gonna hire a couple kids
Factory.
because they just loosened the laws on child labor, so I'm gonna get them kids working.
Down there in Tennessee.
And that's
What the-
sick. I looked for a kettle. That's all I looked for, and that was the first thing that came up.
Of
I want a
course,
kettle.
yeah.
I'm gonna get a
Alibaba.
kettle, like a kettle cooker. What is that called? A kettle cooker?
I don't. That's a good
Yep,
question.
kettle cooker. Presto kettle kitchen multi cooker.
So back to these purple potatoes. Are they sweet potatoes? Or are they like the
Regular
russet ones?
potatoes. The regular potatoes, they looked when I planted them. Of course, they're smaller because they're starter potatoes, but they look very similar to like a red potato almost.
Okay. So there's like I think they might be russets or something similar to that. I know there's like a few different colors of that style of potato. The purple ones I would recommend are like for that dish anyway, or the purple sweet potatoes. I guess I know there's a certain name.
Oh, I
for
love
them.
sweet potatoes.
Oh, me too, man. I actually had a sweet potato sushi roll like a week ago. It's literally just like I swear to God, it was just a sweet potato fry stuck through a sushi roll.
Oh, gross.
Yeah, it was rice. Yeah, it wasn't all that special. Not gonna order that one again, but I think it was the
Oh,
cheapest one on the menu. and I think it was because it was a French fry in the middle of a sushi roll.
So, hey, can I have some ketchup for my fries?
Yeah, like, I'm pretty sure I can make this one at home.
Oh, that looks like a nice one.
Hey, hash time. How about that?
No, it's hash
Checking
time.
out,
Oh, look,
I'm checking
Red's
out
got some
chip
potatoes.
slicers.
Them. Oh, that's not red.
They're purple. Purple
Are
potatoes.
those sweet
Oh, that's not
potatoes?
Red. That's Becca. Sorry.
Nope.
What kind of potatoes do you want for chips?
For chips?
What kind of chips?
Idaho potato.
Oh, you want to make chips? You don't want to make fries? I'm surprised you wouldn't make fries.
I figured
bro.
it'd be the same. I figured it'd be the same potato.
You can make a press.
two birds with
You
one
can get a
stone.
press with like a grid pattern that you can press a potato through to make
Yeah,
your
but I'm
fries.
talking about what potato strain. There's got
I
to be a best.
I
A
feel like
russet.
russet are too like boring. It's like
Yeah,
I think
they're
you
too
need
dirt-like.
a gold smaller potato like this size. I think would make really good ones. Or the purple. The purple are so rich. The flavor's so good.
Maybe I'll do a mixed color.
There you go. You could do a rainbow fries.
Rainbow
Rainbow
fries.
fries, man. There
All
you
I know
go.
is deep fry them in peanut oil. It makes a big difference.
Yeah, I always
Yes.
use the fried peanut oil, but
Yes, I agree.
I might upgrade and air fry everything.
That's one thing that went from like $12.99 a gallon pre-pandemic to legit like $27.99.
Oh, really?
Oh shit, really?
Yeah, peanut
I
oil.
always just went to
cut down on my
Walmart.
anything frying.
All right, Bakes.
Yeah,
we're gonna
they're-
start a
they're-
peanut farm in your front yard there, where then you don't gotta mow it.
Hey, I'm down for that.
Don't you mean a
I really want to get a fence so I can do whatever I want and just not worry about the deer.
We'll just grow a bunch of peanuts to make
But
some
now they
oil.
can jump over the fence.
Yeah, I think you're gonna need a 13-foot
Yeah,
fence, which is the size of an
that's-
overpass over
That's-
I-94.
Especially
That's
since
impossible.
well, he's got a apple tree, so they'll eat the apples and maybe get full.
Well, here's the thing. If they can
Just
jump
gonna
over that
attract a-
fence,
a
how
bug.
come they don't jump into my neighbor's backyard and I see like a deer stuck in their backyard all the time?
Because they won't
got
get stuck. Because he could jump the hell right back out.
Yeah, what do you mean? Get stuck.
He ain't gonna get stuck. He
You
just
got
jump
there in
right the hell
first
out.
place.
I don't think they're smart enough just to hop like that. They're probably gonna get
They
stuck.
100% are.
The
I watched them.
hell they
I
will,
watched them
dude.
stand at the fence line and wait and look at me until I got close
Dude.
enough, and they decide
Hey,
to
you
use the
scared
effort.
it.
I'm gonna tell you. I'm gonna tell
Yeah.
you. If I didn't see it with my
We're
own
not going to
eyes,
jump over the fence until then, though.
if I didn't see a deer with my own fucking eyes standing, not running or even moving, jump over a 6-foot fucking fence, dude, I wouldn't believe it either. But I fucking saw it with my own eyes.
Biggs, you want to come hunting this fall?
No.
No, you don't have to
Oh,
shoot anything.
shoot
Just to
no
see.
deer.
Yeah, you just watch.
Are you gonna chase it near a fence for me to watch?
I'm not going to chase it
Like that's
anywhere.
what I care about. Like is like. But now I can do that in my yard. Now I can just scare
I'll put
them
up
to my
a
neighbors.
fence in the middle of a food plot, and you can watch it
Like,
happen.
see if it jumps that way.
Just get out
But
there. and
a gallon of Luann peanut oil is $18.28. That's crazy.
yeah, but you can get a couple
You
uses out
muted
of it.
yourself for growing, but well, yeah, but
Just get a couple uses out of it.
it used to be way cheaper. I should be the new peanut.
But think about it.
That's another one. Hold on, sorry. That's another one that documentary goes on. All the peanuts are fucked. All
What?
the peanuts.
Who's fucking the peanuts?
Well, remember that recall recently where they really had to pull it off in the whole nation? Yeah, like there's like peanut factories with bird poops washing in the leaky roof. That's what might have caused that one. Yeah, it's disgusting. It's like we should be starting our own peanuts, and get off of the big peanut companies. They call them the big nuts.
The big nut.
Yeah, the big nut.
The big
there's
nut's
like-
a problem, man. They've been a problem for years.
Yeah,
They've really
big
taken
nut.
over the nuts, both walnuts,
Pistachios.
pecans, yeah,
Go to the
pistachios,
store. You can only get Costco,
mixed nuts.
Sam's, or wonderful pistachios.
Dude, and think about the trickle effect it has. You know, we're talking now trail mix, right? So now this is affecting the sales of M&Ms. I think this is a real problem.
M&Ms. Oh
Yeah,
yeah,
all those
peanut
M&Ms in the trail mix.
M&Ms.
And think about the grapes that eventually become raisins and also end
Trail
up in
mix
that
is
trail
nothing
mix.
without peanut or
Dude,
M&Ms.
Yeah. How about
Well,
Gardettos? What do you guys feel about Gardettos?
What's a Gardetto?
Whoa.
Bean. It sounds like a bean. Gardetto.
Sorry, do you know what Gardettos is? Okay. Is that like a
Yeah.
Michigan?
One of my mom's favorite mixes, man.
Yeah, I've
see you
eaten
in a
those.
tournament.
I like the big brown things they got in there, the chips. They're like
Dude,
big-
I found a pack. It was called the Special Blend or something like
I'm
that
gonna
of
bring
just
this up in
those.
case no one knows. Oh, really?
Yeah, I found
That'd
that
be
today at the
delicious.
gas station.
Since 1932, people.
Dang,
Get your
that's
Gardettos.
quality.
We're not even sponsored, but these
Yeah,
are these
Emily-
are my favorite.
Yeah, Emily introduced me to that pack for Girly. I didn't know it existed.
Oh,
until-
really?
Look it up. Go to
Yeah.
products. It's probably called a Special Blend or something like that.
Oh,
look at all that.
garlic rye chips.
They got reduced fat pizzeria original
There's
recipe.
no point
of
in
course.
that.
Yeah, well,
You're already eating rye chips. You're being
keep scrolling,
healthy.
keep
Come
scrolling,
on.
keep scrolling. Chipotle cheddar.
Chipotle cheddar. That's
Where is
probably
it?
pretty good.
Oh, is it a
It was right
secret
here.
recipe? Oh no, you're right. It is okay.
Garlic rye chips.
Special requests. That's what it's called.
Buy now. Oh, look at this. Kroger, Instacart, and Meyer.
$3.59. There you go.
$3.59
Hook it
Meyer.
up. Hook it up.
Says I'm
Send
in
it.
Detroit. Haha. Oh shit! They saw
Yeah,
my
now you're
fucking.
Amazon.
They saw my chip fucking purchase. I didn't purchase that one. That's just what I'm researching. That one can do chips and French fries.
Look at them things.
Oh, what are those?
Are
Canvas
those gonna
leaves?
go in?
Are you gonna pickle them?
Yeah, those are gonna flavor the.
This is from our outdoor. We actually put some in our spaghetti sauce that we made.
Nice.
And just like one or two leaves, just like bay leaf style. We're gonna juice them.
There you go, dude. Nothing better than those in a smoothie. And you can freeze them. They get brittle and everything, but you can freeze them to keep them longer. Just throw them in like a Ziploc or something like that.
I think we're gonna maybe freeze some of the juice for some bits too.
Yeah.
And ice cubes.
Yeah, make ice cubes out of the juice.
Have you guys ever
Good enough.
cut the stems off and before you juice them, or you just throw the stems in there too?
I probably just throw the stem. The petiole. You mean the
petiole?
petiole stem?
Yeah, I don't know how to
Pedialyte.
enunciate.
That's good stuff.
Depends on.
Pedialyte.
I feel like we'll get more juice out of that. To be honest,
Probably, yeah.
It's on how.
That's where most of the moisture is
the
gonna.
juicer's gonna get with fiber and shit. So.
Yeah, I think technically the leaf matter dry out before the petiole petiole.
Yeah, the leaf goes limp super fast. You got to be on top of it.
Yeah.
You really
Everything always kind of holds on until it just all falls off pretty much.
Yeah, I did it kind of in the rain yesterday, fortunately. So there was no sun beating down. I did it kind of in a good time. The moisture of the rain was keeping everything wet and moist, and also
natural wash.
Yeah, and then in that bowl, they're all stacked with a little bit of moisture in between, and put a little wet paper towel on top rather than putting it all in a Ziploc bag. Ziploc bags work great. You'll get longevity. I used to deliver fan leaves to a bar for cocktails, and they would get fucking dude. He got like 3 weeks shelf life out of a bag of fan leaves one time. Believe it or not, just in a Ziploc bag. A little bit of wet paper towel in there. You want to change that out because it'll get
moldy.
Yeah, if you don't.
Yeah.
Yeah. You get a decent amount of time out of fan leaves. Make sure you're exchanging the air in that bag and stuff like that. You don't want it to. But yeah, they just need a little bit of moisture. Most of your leafy greens just need to add a little bit of moisture to them. Your lettuce starts to go limp. Put it in a bowl of cold water. We did it with our beans too. Our cucumbers are soaking in cold water. Also, just for that same reason, kind of adds a little bit of it's a recrispening. A little hydration, a little crisp.
Do you guys know what a salad spinner is?
Yeah, we have.
Yep.
Oh, I'm so jealous, dude. My parents had one. Like they must have got it like once I went to college or something. I never really got to see it in action too much, but when I did, I was so blown away. And I am now into my 30s, an adult, and do not have one. And I need to just man up here and purchase one. No, they had like a slap chop one. It was like,
oh, you guys had future shit. No, there's one that's a crank. So faster you go, you can get that thing. That was my favorite part about my mom making a salad. Yeah,
counter.
I got to do that shit. No, you have to hold the bowl. It's slapped on top of the bowl. I don't know how this thing worked, but
From my
Motion.
understanding,
it
it
was
was
a
like
big
a
bowl.
colander inside of a bigger bowl.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah.
with the rod in the center that's
Yeah.
all attached
Well,
to
yeah,
whatever.
this had a crank, so I'm just saying the crank's better than the push buttons.
Yeah, I disagree.
Push buttons for the lazy man.
Also here. Hang on.
Well, it's more efficient.
Hold on.
I don't
Yeah,
think so.
right there,
I
dude.
think that
Right
thing
there.
topped
What
out.
does this thing cost? Like $33, something like that.
How fast can you get that going, Red?
Go, dude, go. Put it. Yeah. No. Slap chop. Slap chop. Slap
The
chop.
max.
Slap chop. Put it on a hard surface. Let's see you go, dude.
Got a break. It break.
That's a break. That's pretty cool.
Break.
That's wild.
Yeah, but was that the fastest you could go?
I'm not allowed to.
I know. I'm trying to get it.
Break.
Becca, there's something in the kitchen beeping.
The pickles need jarring.
There's pickles already.
No, seriously though, that is like such a great.
That looks like a nice.
I don't
one.
know. Yeah, that is actually like stainless steel or whatever the heck is going on.
Yeah.
A really nice one. But
Some kitchen one.
so I can't buy you guys that for a wedding gift. That's good to know. What
yeah,
other gifts is there?
We all show up with salad spinners, even so.
Various colors.
I got the crank one for you.
Trust me, you guys got the slap chop version.
Yeah.
You're gonna like
Yeah,
it a
I
lot
got
better.
you the bullshit ones. You're gonna want to return those.
When those broke, you come back to the tried and true
Yeah,
crank.
the crank. The people have been cranking salads for thousands of years.
We'll
Yeah.
eventually have retrofitted a washing machine to be used in the dry cycle for our greens. So
Oh Lord.
the ultimate salad spinner.
Speaking
That'd
of
be
retrofitting, I got you.
That's the way
guys
they do it,
a-
man. They use washing machines in the market garden industry.
Oh, that's crazy.
It's
Well, it's the same. It's the same thing as a salad spinner, though. If you don't have an agitator in the washer, that's a
Remember
salad.
the washer? Oh, well,
just in
yeah.
the dry cycle.
We
It's
should
spin dry.
just use like a laundry basket.
Yeah, but you gotta keep that thing clean.
just make a bigger.
Well, they got soap in it every cycle. What do you mean keep it clean?
You're putting soap in with your what? No,
I'm
you
so
can't
confused
use
as
a
to what we're
used
talking
one.
about right now.
You can't use a used one. Then there's
Use
soap
the used one,
leaching in
dude.
there for years. You
Use
know how
one.
many crevices are in your washing machine?
Yeah, it all use
Those
them.
things are disgusting.
You're not washing
They're
them.
full of grossness.
You're not
Yeah,
throwing,
but it's getting cycled through. You can't do that. Get a new cheap
out.
one.
it's going out. Centrif-
Or at least put a sticker on saying, washed with a used
Of course it's going out.
fucking washing machine. So people know. Oh.
both
That way
sides.
I can put a sticker on mine. It's like clean washing machine washed.
Hey,
Brand
are
new.
you, wait, are you?
What on
So you're
someone
pro
else?
regulation and labeling laws then?
I'm pro consumer knowing what they're eating. So that's the
So
other
label
part of
laws.
that documentary is, did you know if you go look at your meat in your fridge, if you buy meat from the store, then nowhere on any meat in the store does it say pathogen free. Because our government and our regulations work so little that we're not pathogen free. Whereas you go to Europe, they all have pathogen free on
Oh, they
all
have
their
very
meats.
different labeling laws. That's just one of many different
Yeah,
standards.
but I'm just saying it's nice to know. Just like they implemented GMO law. I don't know if they implement it here, but like Oreos on the back it says made with it's not, it doesn't say GMO, but it says
Made with food-like substances.
yeah,
but
well,
not real
it does.
food.
It should say that, but it doesn't say that. But it says, what does it say? Something that's basically like artificial food, or
Oh, yeah,
it means GMO. It means GMO. It's a fancy way of saying it.
Genetically engineered.
Yeah, it's
something
like
like that.
genetically engineered plants or something. Yeah, and it's just a fancy way of them getting around having to put. Yeah, we made this shit with GMO or something.
There's a huge argument that the synthetic version of meat is no different than the meat because the molecule is the same. Isn't that the same argument with
You talking about the lab grown shit?
yeah, isn't that the same argument with
The
like
molecule is the same as what?
as meat? Like meat.
But let me ask you, if you
I
met a
don't think the
guy,
molecules are the same.
Well,
at all.
let him finish his point. What he's saying is, if you're going to make that argument that lab-grown meat is the same exact thing as real meat, then they can make that same argument that fucking lab-grown fucking food-like substances are really food.
That's what I mean. And people do, man. That's how they rationalize that it's okay to eat.
Well, hold on. No,
mean, that's okay.
if you're talking about the molecules being the same in one, the other's genetically modifying something. I think it's a little different.
Well, I also think it's different than just having. I gotta pull this out of the water.
Because to me, if on a molecular level you can copy and paste something, then it's not different.
But I don't think that's what they're doing, right? Is that
I
what
don't
they're
think so.
arguing?
I don't know.
don't think
I'm
that's
just
what they're
saying
doing at all.
what he said. He said yeah.
It's a soy based
Yeah, I don't
plant
know.
protein. I don't think it has
And-
anything to do with molecular makeup or anything like that. I mean, I don't know enough about it, but I know one comes from plants and one comes from animals, and
What are we talking about?
corn and
They got
soy.
lab grown meat in California and stuff now. They're making laws on.
Yeah, but I think the GMO stuff, like what you're saying, baked, is genetically different.
Yeah, that's what I'm
Because
saying.
they've
I think it's
inserted another
different than lab grown.
Yeah, because they insert another sequence inside.
Yeah, you're fucking with
Right, they're
genetics,
correcting it,
whereas
so to speak.
at least the lab grown, I would assume the goal obviously is to make money first, but then it would be to replicate meat, not
Yeah, well, what I think
make a
No,
new better meat.
it's just
my
the
understanding of
flavor,
the
the
meat was
texture.
I thought that
That's what I'm
my
saying.
understanding was
Well, how much replication of flavor and texture of a food do you get to before you're called a replication?
Well, I could
Like, I
make
mean,
something look and
looks-
taste like something, but it could be
taste,
made of
feel.
completely something different. You know what I mean? And that is the point. But that's also the point. You know, it's a
But
plant.
I'm saying if I gave you 2 Oreos and you're like, oh, those are great Oreos, baked. I was like, well, believe it or not,
Hold on,
one was made out of meat and one was made out of plant. Let's just say it's
you're
magic.
starting off with a false premise here, because what we're talking about is meat, which is something that you can find in nature, right?
Yep.
And then a soy-based plant protein artificial burger that's made to look like something that's found in nature. Oreos are not found in nature either way, so regardless of
I'm
whether they're
going
made
off
from
of what
soy
you
or
said,
meat.
where it's going for look and taste and texture.
Right, but they're
What
trying to
else
copy
more
something
do you
in
have
nature.
to a food?
They're trying to copy something in nature.
I don't care about that. I'm saying, what else more do you have for a food to describe it and match it?
The nutritional value of it,
Okay.
the source of it,
Petroleum.
whether or not it's a real whole food or not.
Dude, guys,
you won't know this. You don't know the source of the fish you eat
they
by
use
eating
petroleum, guys. They use petroleum, and they take petroleum gas. You know, this what they make fuel out of, and the byproducts of fuel, and the petroleum, and they restructure petroleum, and they make things like preservatives and what other natural occurring compounds, and because they don't have to dig it out of the ground, they can just restructure some petroleum and synthesize it much faster. That's what's used in the food industry. They don't use the natural preservatives like salt and things like that you could use. Instead, they create a version of salt, and sometimes they use things like petroleum to get there. Or they might use soy, but that's a much more probably healthier version than what they actually use,
made
which
from animal cells.
mostly
Yeah, let's look it up. Let's look up like Beyond Meat and what's the other one? The Impossible Burger.
Oils.
Same company.
That's not what Red's talking about. Red's talking
I'm
about.
not talking about that.
That's about
That's been out
lab-grown
for a while. There's lab
lab-grown
grown
meat. We're talking about, yeah.
It's not made of.
They're
Yeah.
just like reproducing cells, essentially, like cloning. Cloning
Yeah,
tissue
they're
or whatever
growing
they do.
animal cells out of a couple.
Yeah,
people-
okay,
and
that's
they're
something
trying to
totally different.
regulate
I thought
it.
we were talking about like the plant-based meat.
No,
No,
that's
no,
just
no, no,
no. Yeah, when she said Beyond Meat, I was like, no, that's been out for a while.
Synthesized stuff, whether it's grown or actually like synthesized in a lab from restructuring
The cells are mixed with a broth of nutrients that the cells need to grow and divide. Cells are triggered to turn into skeletal muscle, and fat, and connective tissue. After days or weeks, the cells are removed from the tanks and shaped into products such as nuggets.
You know what sounds way more appetizing to me? Should I pull up that video of the deer? It's literally, if you are what you eat, I'd rather be the deer that's eating the plants that I've been growing all year than whatever the hell that is and where it's coming from. And this broth
coming from
God
that
knows
deer.
what.
It depends on how you cook
cells that
that
come
deer
from that deer.
because it depends on how you cook that deer because sometimes deer tastes like complete gamey and shitty if you don't know how to cook it.
For sure. We got a smoker now, so we're gonna figure that one out this year.
It's bad, okay? Yum meat.
Well,
Yeah,
the
I don't know. How do you guys feel about the actual like lab grown
other
stuff?
option is mealworm protein, which is being justified.
Okay, this is some global. What's the,
It's not.
the
It's been used.
economic
It's been
forum?
used by a fast food industry since like the late '90s. They've been using mealworm protein for a really long time. It's being popularized right now, but it's been in the food industry for a real long time. It's a protein source. They use it in chicken nuggets and your burgers and stuff like
And
that.
your Taco Bells.
It was a known Burger King thing since like a long, long time ago. Somebody worked at Burger King, like made it sound like they put worms in it, but it's not worms. It's mealworm.
Yeah, it's all processed and
Processed mealworms. You know,
yeah. It's one of the best sources of protein for our chickens. You know what I mean? Like, I get it. It's just
They're delicious.
They really grow just in their own poop too, you know, like it's crazy. I raise mealworms for my bearded dragon and they just live in a little box with all their stuff and like 500 of them, like so many.
Yeah.
Small area, and they're just eating and pooping and eating. You like want to gut load them with all the good stuff for the bearded dragon. It's really cool. It's like a couple steps.
Can you feed them like certain?
I would be okay for the average person to be like, yeah, I just want the sovereignty to like eat one of these crab, and I'm okay with everybody putting whatever they want into their bodies. I'm totally cool with that. What I don't think is cool is that these companies with all this fake food that's made to look like real food, they don't give anybody like an educated choice of what they eat. They just tell people, hey, look at this, it's a burger, it's a real burger. And you know, kind of like what we're fighting with cannabis on like putting the word remediation on the package,
Labeling.
But
you
what
know,
is,
He
Well,
said it.
I'm not
He
saying
said
that
it.
it has to be mandated. I'm not saying that has to be mandated, but like look at some of the stuff that's not mandated. Like you can get a
what's the difference between the burger that's real and fake in
Well,
terms
some will
of
say nothing.
safeness?
Some will say nothing,
Well,
right?
are they adding the protein because their meat that they source doesn't have as much protein as
Probably
normal
to just
meat?
make a little bit go longer.
Yeah, what does this broth consist of? You know,
Like a lot of our meats in this country have like E. coli and salmonella that'll put you in a coma.
The point being is that the owners of these companies, if not the owners, the investors of these companies, the companies that it's one thing to say, yeah, you can put whatever you want in your body, but the other thing is voting with your money and allowing these companies to make.
Well, that's
You're actually restricting.
I think about that, but then you go sit in front of a Burger King and it's just constant in and out traffic. I'm like, holy shit!
Right,
People
right. But what's going on is the leaders of
they're never gonna be able to stop buying that shit.
Hold on, man. Hold on. Let me finish my point. The leaders of that empire are the ones that are cracking down and making it so that like market farmers have more stricter regulations. They're the one, just like cannabis, right? Burger King is the MCMA of the food industry. You know what I mean? And home growers, home cultivated people like us that want to put our pickles, we're not allowed to do. You can sell just about any food grown product in Michigan because of the cottage food industry law. We have cottage law in Michigan. You're allowed to have a food stand in your front yard. You're allowed to sell what you grow, make money on that, unless it follows into some certain guidelines. And pickles happen to be one of those guidelines where it's an acidic, anything that uses acids to keep it preserved, you cannot sell that. And that has to do with regulation and overregulation and probably stuff that's been handed down through large corporations and not just public safety. Some of it, sure, there's a public safety officer out there doing the due diligence, but I would bet to believe a lot more of it is corruption than is due diligence.
Dude, I think it's almost an entire cultural, societal shift. You just said something about things being handed down, and I think it's this multi-generational thing of we are now uncomfortable with the source of our food. I know Spartan has no problem going out back and just grabbing a chunk of lettuce from his backyard and nomming on it, right? None of us have any problems going back there and grabbing some beans or a tomato or something like that and just throwing it in the pot for dinner. But there are a lot of people that will not go into your backyard garden and pick a raspberry and just pop it in their mouth. And in fact, I think it is a majority of the people are uncomfortable with just harvesting their own food, harvesting their own animals, harvesting their own eggs from the chicken coop and then cooking them. I think it's like a cultural shift where people are really uncomfortable with that. And I don't know if it's just
because there's a couple
grocery store has made that that simple.
There's a couple of things. There's actual E. coli outbreaks that occur, right? That has happened. There was a big one that happened in the 80s. It was on that poison documentary that Bake's talking about. Those are big reasons that populations get packed. Rusty brings up the point of botulism. Yeah, you can fuck up pickles and you can make botulism. As an adult, I should be able to take that risk and buy pickles from a entrepreneur. You know what I mean? Assuming that you're taking that risk, maybe that risk should be, I don't know, put in the marketing of the pickles. Who the buyer of this is assuming the risk that these pickles could be, whatever.
Well, that's what they do. They put the buyer on it. Back in the 60s, they said the woman needs to cook the meat properly. Therefore, the companies are not responsible.
Big thing with meat, and you just, there's ways around it by saying that it's not for sale, and we do it.
Say with vegetables, the woman needs to wash them properly.
But those are all
commercials.
Sometimes in the name of safety, and I agree with the safety portion of it, but I don't agree with the corporation.
Well, it's like, for instance, there should be a big distance between your livestock and your greens. A lot of people don't realize that, because that's exactly how E. coli likes to spread. And that's part of the problem with the nationwide shit they're talking about is you'll go to where they have 1 million cattle farm and it's literally a 20-foot distance separation, and then there's a lettuce farm or something. And that's what's getting into our shit. But
I would say probably it's a lot less important the smaller of scale you get. Like at our scale, we wash everything, a lot of things get missed when it's that big. And so I think.
Yeah, we don't put our chicken compost on our.
I think that helps a lot. Yeah.
Stuff like that. You have to be mindful of what you're doing with your compost. You have to be mindful of where your animals are grazing. But that's also a monoculture issue, because you're talking probably thousands of cows that are creating tons of waste. Like a couple cows are on a pasture. On a pasture are not going to be like spreading E. coli, especially if you're running chickens behind them and properly managing the pest pressure and the disease pressure appropriately. That's not something that you see on regenerative farming principles. That's something you see in monoculture, and those
I don't know if we've gotten far enough in that many farms to find out
balance of things to eat that E. coli and proper nutrition for the animals to fight it, so you're not spreading it and all of that other stuff, and having the proper animals. Just like in the soil, right? Everybody has a job, and all that's going on above ground too. You got macro, and you got big animals like cows and pigs and sheep and shit like that. Move them. Don't leave them on one spot, and then run something behind it that cleans up their feces. They do that from the sheep. You do it from the cows to the sheep to the pigs, then to the chickens. And then
I think
through.
I think that kind of answers for girlies what we were talking about earlier. Why more people are afraid to pick their own harvest. I don't think it's a afraid thing. It's just how much from leaving your house to go take care of the chickens. What do you got to do?
Well, there's definitely a workload thing that
That's
goes.
What I'm saying. Like there's a workload, there's an equipment load, a space load. I think it comes down to convenience a lot.
I think it comes.
Mom with 5 kids.
There's a fear aspect too, man.
Something like that.
People are terrified. A lot of people think that because it did not come from an FDA licensed manufacturer that it has E. coli on it.
Dude, and if three of us on this show have brought it up already tonight, and if you want to go do that, you're gonna go pay a place like Blake's Apple Orchard to go do the you pick them, and I'm gonna go pick them from a place I feel safe.
You know what they use and stuff there?
It's gonna be an event. No, who knows what they use there? But you trust it because you paid them to. Everyone else is doing it.
Yeah.
That's the truth, man.
Fun fact though, there's no known cases of transmission of diseases or parasitoids to humans from consumption of insects. So the future looks like we're eating insects, and it's
You will
completely
own
safe.
nothing, and you will be happy.
Yeah, they'll feed us mealworm cakes.
I was curious about this botulism thing, and just like from the aspect of like being able to trust your source, whether that be an entrepreneur or your local grocery store or whatever it may be, farmers market, etc. And one of the things that came up pretty quickly, and I can't find the price of this, of course, because I'm pretty sure it's just sold to like Homeland Security and whatnot. He got a great government deal on this, but someone came up with a botulism causing like strip, like a test strip, like a pH test strip, essentially, that tests for botulism within 20 minutes. And so they're using it, Homeland Security, whatever, is try to keep the disease away, whatever. But
There's a
what's botulism? That's a specific disease.
There's a statistic talking about like the occurrences of botulism is incredibly low. Like it's more common to like get some other like parasitic thing or some other bacterial infection, which is rather rare, than it is to like actually get botulism. It's kind of like, I don't know how true that was. It was a statistic that I heard, but yeah, like the actual cases of botulism is incredibly low. Like it does happen. It's a thing that happens, and you have to watch out for it. But it rarely occurs, and people rarely, because usually people see the signs to not eat their food in time. You know what I mean? So, and then other cases are probably low enough that it's, I don't know, maybe it's not considered harmful. But
what is this? The rate of botulism in food?
Well, botulism cases.
Oh
cases,
yeah, all right.
It coming down and getting sick because of it.
From home canning.
Yeah, it's poorly preserved foods. It's a bacterial.
Average of 110 cases of botulism is reported in the U.S. yearly. About 25% of these cases are foodborne. So that's not. That's what, like.
It's only about
30. Yeah, 20 something, 28.
Yeah, out of everybody, millions and millions of people.
Looks like it really affects people in their 40s.
Is it
It's
like
crazy?
Sick, or does it cause other issues?
Sickness. Yeah. Yes. Well,
it causes a bunch of crap. It says
can be fatal. Yeah.
So it's probably like the
you up.
extreme cases that go to the hospital.
I'm not sure. Like, it's not your basic food poisoning. Food poisoning. I mean, there's tons of reasons for food poisoning. There's so many different bacterias. I mean, different things you can get and spread and.
Gotta make sure you wash your food and look at it.
Wash your hands.
Yeah, wash your hands. I feel like people should have learned that. When we were in COVID, I had a theory of like, I think if you're looking at the cup half full with COVID, I think people got better at washing their hands, or I would hope so. There was washing your hands video. I learned how to wash my hand like a surgeon, where like you like do all these motions and make sure you get every part of your fingers and stuff. And I always said that's an advancement in human evolution.
Oh, dude, we didn't even know
just like the toilet, just like plumbing and stuff like it was hygiene.
We didn't know what bacteria was. What, like 250
exactly.
years ago or something like that?
But now we're all getting good at washing hands. And
dude, you don't count your ABCs every time you wash your hands and brush your teeth?
Good have
ABCs, and then but now I do specific motions. Like, you gotta make sure you do that. Do one of those. And then you do all your regular shit, of course. There's a couple others. Oh, get your thumb good. You'll miss your thumb if you don't do your thumb like that. It's how surgeons do them. And the video showed he used like dye. And it was, so if you just do this, your regular bullshit, you miss a lot of stuff. So, up your washing game. Yep.
I can't believe I sat through and listened to that whole bullshit.
Oh, this guy's probably got poo on his fingers. But
I probably do. Who knows?
yeah,
I was
But
just
that's
doing my
outside.
best and not recommend a power washer because I power washed my flood and drain tables today and that works so well. I mean, it's not like sanitizing it, but it removes a lot of things.
Makes life easier, that's for sure.
Yeah, dude. It reminded me of the days of scrubbing them back in the.
you power wash them in the room. You got a drain or something.
No, I just take them right out.
Oh, yeah.
Nice, cool, somewhat sunny day like today. Actually, yeah, I told you guys last night the room's empty, so I'm like completely flipping it,
We could get
sanitizing it.
We could get a cheap electric one, do it inside, just vacuum up the water.
Yeah.
Dump it.
Yeah.
Or squeegee it if you, yeah, shop vac it, and wet vac it. It seems like it would get everywhere though. I mean, whatever you're spraying would just get everywhere. You'd have to do it like upside down or something, so it's hitting the floor.
This would be during a recess. The room's empty and it's waterproof.
Just
What
take
are we
them
talking
out.
about? Your trays in the room?
Yeah. Power washing them in the room.
Room?
It would just be everywhere, dude. You'd be power washing the walls.
Terrible.
Oh my god, yeah. I had a shower immediately
Oh,
afterwards.
big
I got-
plastic walls.
We have to put
I say I
No, I
can't
get
power wash,
that, but-
we have to put bags around the HLGs because they're not waterproof.
Exactly. Yeah, and it'll be getting gunk everywhere. It's not just water. It's whatever's on those tables is going to be flying everywhere.
we spray them off at work, just not with a pressure washer.
Yeah. Yeah, I get that 15-degree
We're
guy on
taking
there.
Can't believe you guys haven't tried that yet.
What?
Not using a pressure washer on those tables.
Wow. Then shit does go everywhere. We've still got plants up there. We can't
Isn't
just
it
take them
different?
outside.
No, I'm talking about pressure
Little washer.
washer on a reset in a flower room. I think on the
Oh,
on
the main
rolling table.
tables? Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, we got that fucking foaming machine we've never used too.
Oh well, that's
The
fucking-
BioSafe one or something else?
seems like it's huge
Oh,
fuck.
we got one of the Athena ones, and then they never sent us any of the juice. Like there's like a foamer and stuff.
Just
Oh,
get,
is that-
get a BioSafe foamer. There's so many foaming liquids out there.
I think
It's
we
all
have
essential.
some in the closet too, but we don't like.
Those
I
are
don't know.
fun.
It's just like we don't want to foam the whole room like that. We
Yeah,
just
don't do it
cast
when there's plants in there. Only do it if you're like use it if you're doing a hard reset and kind of need to. But
We have to replace the tables. They're getting old. It's been 3 years, 4 years. I don't know.
I just bought a new 8-inch by 40-inch carbon filter today.
What'd
I
you get?
was hoping to get fresh. They didn't have it.
Yeah.
They had one can light 8-inch filter and one active air 8-inch filter at my local
Wow.
hydro store. I didn't go shopping too hard for them, but only two 8-inch filters, and one of them was, let's see, the active air was, I want to say 24-inch, 750 CFM, and the can light, which is quite frankly, I'm pretty sure can air, whatever it's called.
Yeah,
That's the one I've been using for pretty much my entire grow career, you know.
they're pretty good.
For the most part, yeah. That one was a 40-inch one, so I decided to get the bigger one. It was, I don't know, like $40 more for 16 more inches and 250 more CFM. It was 1,000 CFM, and just a brand I know. So got that sucker to replace. You know, just trying to redo everything. Not redo, but like deep clean and sterilize the flower room.
Yeah.
In the heat of August, you know what I mean? I figured it's just the height of the summer. I'd take a kind of use the heat to shut down, even though we've had like the two coolest days in the last 2 days that we've had in the last 3 months or something. Like, I don't know. But it's been nice to actually get the work done because it has been a little bit cooler. But yeah, you know, changing out filters on dehumidifiers.
How often you do that?
Probably once a year, if 12 to 18 months, honestly. Like, unless there's a
You have like an and or a quest or something. Nice.
yeah, it's like a
Yeah.
115 dual or whatever, 155 dual. I don't know, something in that range.
I've always
Probably 115.
thought you could make some money possibly. Like, you know how, I don't know if you know anything about your cars, but like, you know how you can buy an air filter for your car that's like K&N, where it's like wash it
Mhm.
out and you never have to buy another one. Like, they should make that for the Andons and the Quests. And it's just like that same material. You can just wash it.
Do they get down to that HEPA filter level though? Because that's kind of the idea.
No,
with
that's
these.
yeah, you're right. That's probably why they
That's why it's
can't.
almost worth,
We
and
change
honestly,
ours
if I
every
was
reset.
if I was in a commercial,
it's
that's
like-
what I was just gonna say. If I was in a commercial
I always
facility or
feel
had
like-
a lot more plants than I did, I would definitely be changing them because they're not that
That's-
expensive. They're probably like $15 or something a filter.
I don't know. I gotta get a fucking price thing from our supplier and see what. You know, they never give us prices. I'm just swiping a card.
Send
I
me
don't-
the PO, right?
Yeah, like give me the invoice or something.
So you do the
But-
purchasing?
Everything's small. Like I won't buy like a DU.
Oh, okay.
But I'll go to Sam's, Menards, and we use Elevated because they're across the street. But
Yeah,
they
yeah.
don't act, they don't fucking act like it.
What's that mean?
But you can't just drop us off on their way to Detroit. We gotta wait till the truck's back from Detroit, which it never showed, and stuff like that. It's just like we're also your like first customer. But anyways, yeah. So I buy all this stuff. I really gotta get a better system, but I kind of just try to check once a week. What do we fucking need, and then put it in my phone notes.
Get yourself some
But-
sort of electronic inventory system going.
Yeah, that would be sweet.
An Excel spreadsheet.
Yeah. I don't know if I want to put that much effort into it.
Yeah.
It's just nice.
Especially
It's
after
just
hours,
nice
yeah.
getting the shit quicker, like when we need it.
Yeah, I feel
Not
you.
being- yeah, not having to do a last minute run to the store because you're completely out.
Yeah,
Yep.
well, like the boss would sometimes buy like 5 bags of Menards things. It's like, dude, we're gonna blow through those. We need 20 packs minimum so you don't have to go back to Menards or something. But
Yeah, when you buy in bulk, you get a better
or like
price.
I've gotten to use it to like put the notebook. What do they call it? It's like you remember in high school and school, like there would be like outside each room there might be like a file holder on the wall,
Yeah,
Yeah.
100%.
something like that. So like that's now where we put all of our. Every room has its own notebook and dry erase colors and a pen.
Nice.
So we can keep track of stuff if we need to, or leave notes for me and the other guy that do flour.
That's smart.
Stuff
I
like
just
that.
use clipbords. I put a nail on.
I
outside
wanted
each room with a
to
clipboard.
do that, but
I got one
yeah,
above my lab table. Like I got cork boards all over.
I kind of want to do that at the Trico Forge. I like clipboards.
Yeah, it's simple tack on the wall. You can use it like a 3M hook, so you're not putting holes in your walls and stuff.
Yep. Yeah.
Pop it right off. Take it with you if you need to take notes or take inventory of your plants or something like that.
Or you can put an 8-inch screw in the fucking wall and just let it hang there.
8-inch wide,
Well-
right? Are we talking circumference, diameter, or circumference?
Both.
Ooh, that's it's gonna be
Gotta
really
have a-
like
That's a girthy
oval
one.
shape.
Gotta
type
have a
thing.
big hole. You gotta have a big hole on the clipboard to hang it.
Yeah, but yeah, like you were saying earlier in the chat, in our chat, it's just like I was saying it's everything. We all know this, but it's like all the companies buy up the companies, so it ends up being one or two giant corporations owning all the eggs or whatever the fuck.
Oh, like BlackRock.
So, yeah, well, funny, when we were talking about Burger King, I was looking at Burger King. Guess who owns Burger King? Owns the same, owns McDonald's. It's called Restaurant Brands International.
And who owns
and-
them?
A bunch of subsidiaries, but a 4% shareholder is
RBI?
Vanguard.
Vanguard? Oh, okay.
Yeah, RBI, exactly. RBI is like the restaurant.
Look up
owners.
Yum Yum brands, dude. It's like Taco Bell and KFC and Pizza Hut. I think I'm getting that right. There's a bunch
And
of them.
I bet RBO owns Yum Yum.
That's probably why you see them. Well, maybe, but that's why you see them all in the
Like-
same building now, like two in the same building.
Vanguard. Is it owned by Vanguard?
It's all
Other-
Vanguard.
Grease and
Don't,
Pocket.
but don't.
Minor shareholder. It's not over 5%, so you don't have to file that extra 13F.
anyways, the whole point is yeah, I see the grow shops are all being bought up or shut down by a couple of big guys like Grogen,
Yeah.
and you got the other ones that are
Yep.
owned by Hawthorne. But yeah, so it won't be long before you have one. Maybe if you have a grow store, it'll be one. It'll be like one brand.
I
Unfortunately,
see that happening.
All of ours closed down. We got bought out by.
yeah.
And a lot of them have been
I-
bought out by these companies but haven't rebranded yet. And so you don't even know it.
Yeah, that too. Ours was pretty forthright.
Well, you can
But-
tell when there's completely different people in there. You're like, wait a minute, what the fuck is going on?
Yeah,
not-
I'm just
they're not
saying that
different.
Sometimes they get kept on. They get that 2-year whatever
They
contract.
kept a bunch of the same people because I was surprised as fuck. They're still there.
I haven't seen anybody that I recognize in there, but I haven't been there in a bit now.
I think I haven't seen the owner because I think he took a check.
Well, yeah, obviously.
But I think everyone else has still been there. But it's definitely different faces at different times now. It's not
No,
the same
man,
schedule.
I've seen different guys in there 3 times now that I've been in there.
That's what I'm
Guys I've
saying. They
never
switched
seen
up the
before.
schedule, so it's like these guys I used to barely see now I see every time I go.
Huh.
So I'm wondering. And then I know I saw the big guy I always told you I didn't like. Fucking, because he was always kind of just abrasive, and it's like, dude, I'm just trying to find out where the shit is, and don't be mad that I called out that your entire canna section is expired.
Ooh, nice.
But
I like that.
oh, funny thing is, so Grogen came into that place.
Yep.
TJ found out, was talking to the guy. Grogen came into that place, and they made him throw out all that canna.
Oh,
Didn't
what a
donate or
surprise.
nothing, and then just replenish it with new canna, which is cool for me, but it's also like we could actually probably use that expired stuff
Yeah.
at the
Canna's
very
minimum-
least in somebody's garden.
And how good is that stuff to be just thrown in a fucking
Well,
garbage?
The boost only gets better in the bottle.
It's like a fine wine.
Yeah, Red, you're muted. Red, you're muted.
I guess it's that I was muted before, but it's all the other shit that gets wasted too. All the shipping that got wasted, all the people's time to put it on the shelf, put it in wherever it was, and then it just gets thrown out. You guys used it. All that time, all that's wasted.
They're, I believe, I don't know if it's still true. Maybe someone could correct me, but I think their minimum order was like 30 or 40,000. And they were also doing that like, what was it, little fish big pond strategy, where they wouldn't go into every grow store. Like they had like a 35-mile radius around each grow store. That
What are you
was a
talking
licensed
about?
dealer. Canna. They're very limited on like their nutrients, and like
Oh, I didn't
you
know
had
any
to
of
be
that.
able to order big orders, otherwise they weren't even going to
Oh.
consider you. And if you were too close to someone that was already dealing them, they weren't going to consider you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I ran out some of their stuff for.
I hated how Canada had that fucking exclusive. Like they'd give it to one exclusive grow store, and no other store around them would be able to carry it. Like, that's
You
so-
have to go
That
to
was really annoying here.
yeah.
When Capital wouldn't
Oh.
have any canna stuff, it's like, well, the other place has expired canna, and I ended up emailing Canna about that. I was like, listen, we now have one place that offers canna, and it's expired. Like, do you guys not give a shit? I don't think I got a
maybe they just
response.
weren't making enough of it, or
Well,
they weren't
that's the thing.
selling
We're
enough,
kind
you
of
know
a
what I mean?
small
Like-
town. People call this a small town, so fucking.
Yeah, only Baked.
Yep.
He's the only one buying the can in there.
Well, to be honest,
That
it
was me, that
probably
wasn't my
because I
town.
know the one asshole customer that bothered me. One day, no offense to any Jax users, I literally have used Jax for years before, but he was like, "Canada's expensive, blah blah blah. You should be using Jax and blah 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 blah." And like, I've never seen anybody buy a Canada except me and TJ in there, and so yeah. Fucking, that guy
Dude, what
bugged
is?
me.
I don't even want to like open my
It
mouth.
bothered me.
But what is with the Jax homies? Like they're so hardcore about Jax. All the people that
I liked Jax, but I wish, and this was before they have all these additives and extras, but they only had the A and the B. I wanted more control, like for certain
I've been
strains.
using Jax since fuck, man, 2015, something like that. It's just a very simple thing that I don't have to change. I can work
Yeah.
on stuff. I don't have time to switch up my grow. I got so much other stuff going on that it's nice to not have to. It's nice to just kind of keep a consistent product. You know, I like consistency. I know what to expect. I know as long as all my factors are in the ranges that they need to be, I'm going to get what I get. It's a very easy. It's as plug and play as you can get, and the company itself has been around since the 1940s. They were one of the probably first companies that went around and greased everybody's. Did the whole selling snake oil thing. You know, it may not have been J.R. Peters directly, but you know, all those companies that went around and sold the nitrate fertilizer to all the agricultural farms back in the day. They were on it, so they've had their recipes dialed in. They've been in the cannabis industry for I don't know, 20 years, and there's just been a lot of old school heads that have been using that line, pumping out really, really good meds, mainly because it's clean. It dissolves completely, and it's not salty. It doesn't give you residue. And if you use it correctly, like I use it so that there's no runoff. I use it so that the plants consume every bit of the, you know, mineral fertilizer, and all it is minerals. It's salt-based minerals. It's ionized minerals, right? Bonded to some sort of a salt that makes it plant available. I don't know the chemical process to get there. I don't know how they get most of their minerals or where they come, where they're mined, or too much of that, you know. But I haven't heard too bad about their ethics. They've been on top of the horticulture game for a really long time, and I don't believe that they're owned by Hawthorne. So I'm pretty sure it's an independent company.
Let's get into
in
ownership.
Pennsylvania, and so that's also an American company. It's regionally local. It's not far for shipping for their products because it's only coming from Pennsylvania. It's not something that's being shipped from California. That's all water based. It's a dry amendment, or it's a dry powder that I add water to, and the concentration puts it down to like, dude, I couldn't even tell you the cost. I couldn't even tell you the cost per plant because it's so low for my fertilizer. So, okay, so this is electricity aside, okay, because we use double-ended HPS and it's incredibly expensive for us to operate with our air conditioners and all that other stuff that's involved. But we use a 3-gallon pot, and we get roughly 6 3-gallon pots out of one bag of cocoa that costs us nowadays $22. So it's 22 divided by 6, 350. We'll say 350 for cocoa. 1 25-pound bag has lasted us a year, and that costs maybe $100. So our $100 for a bag of fertilizer, and then the part B is another. What was that? That's maybe it was actually, I got it for a lot cheaper. I bought 5 bags, so I got it for like maybe $50, $60 a bag, something like that. So probably with the A and B together, we'll call it $100 for the year, including the magnesium sulfate. Okay, so it's 3 parts. $100 for the year. I fed 36 plants a run. We'll say we average at least 5, 6, 7. We didn't get 10 runs. Maybe we got 7 or 8 runs, whatever that number times 36 is. 8 times 3. Don't do math in public, but some like 240. Well, let's just call it 250 plants. Okay. 250 plants. So what do we do? $2.50 a plant for fertilizer. So our cost per plant is roughly, I don't know, we'll just call it on the high end, $7 per run. You know, it's incredibly low cost on a plant, you know, aside from the electricity, but like I said, it's a lot higher. We're on a well. We're not paying for our water, but we are filtering it and running off a lot with our RO system. So there's some stuff like that. So we're using energy on the well. It'd be great to hook up our well to solar. Solar well would be awesome. We'd really cut our costs there because our well runs continuously.
That would be kind of nice.
Yeah, filling up our tanks. But we don't go through that much water. For 36 plants, we go through about, let's say, 100 gallons a week for 36 plants, maybe less. Maybe, well, yeah, definitely less. Somewhere between 80 and 100 gallons a week. May vary depending on the seasonality of the plants. And then things that are in veg, honestly, right now we're going through, dude, probably less than 5 to 10 gallons a week for a bunch of plants because everything's just in veg and things barely drink. 40-gallon reservoir will last with, I don't know how many moms we got hooked up to that 40-gallon reservoir, like 12, let's say 12 to 15 plants hooked up to a 40-gallon reservoir. We can get at least 2 weeks without having to top off that reservoir. And Jack's is pH stable. It is dissolved stable. You don't have to run an aeration stone. I don't run extra stones. That's electricity savings. Even though adding that extra oxygen is a benefit, we could get probably better yields if we added oxygen, but it's less energy to not have. Fuck, dude, we'd have to run another 8 air pumps. You know, that'd be a lot of energy. So we just choose to not run air pumps. No air stones. The pH doesn't drift. We'll go back 3-4 days later and the pH will still be dead on. Now, if I leave it for 2 weeks, the pH will drift a little bit. A lot of that's just temperature based. But everything stays mixed up really nicely. The EC is consistent and gets there right away because it's completely dissolved. I think that covers all the bases on why I like Jack's, and then I don't have to learn another program or like some other system that's like 30 bottles, maybe not 30 bottles, but like, okay, I did Roots Organics and I did have to buy like 5 different bottles and like 4 different bags, and like it cost $300, and I don't even know if I'd get a good couple months worth of, fertilizer out of all of that. So for this, I mean, the cost, we're talking like $6 to $7 a plant. It's only economically feasible because I kept that mindset of using it because I was trying to do this commercially, where I was up against heavy hitters like people who are running 5 cents on the gram, whatever it is that they can get, and pump out fucking $100 pounds, no problem, and crush the market. I couldn't. I had to make sure that I could compete with that. So I kept that system going, and I designed all the systems in our indoor based on that hydroponic method. Because it's such a clean thing, I can run all my hydro lines without, a bunch of filters and stuff. And I, never really have. I just run open lines, and sediment and shit like that just runs right through and gets into the plant. And then all those root balls get composted at the end. And I flush, do all that stuff. And I don't run runoff because I'm on a well. And I don't want that shit in my organic garden at the farm. You know what I mean? So it all just gets eaten by the plant, smoked by us, our patients. And then we do want to grow organically one day. We want to do that. But I purchased 5 bags of fertilizer last year because like the fertilizer was like going really expensive. Fertilizer costs were going up a lot. And I was thinking that it was going to do the same thing everything else did and double. Fortunately, it hasn't, but I did get a good deal on like 5 bags of fertilizer. And with that, or no, it was 6 and 4. So I got 6 bags of one and 4 of the other. I literally, one bag lasted us a year. So we have 5 years worth of fertilizer. So, dude, I had 5 years worth of fertilizer. I think we spent like $250, like $300 on 5 years worth of fertilizer, man. You know what I mean? Like at our scale, like it's not a couple tents, it's a couple 6 light grow rooms, and they, we're within our limits, our plant counts and all that stuff. And we're able to operate at an incredibly low. So if we could just throw some LEDs in there, dude, we could totally have some $500 pounds. You know what I mean? We don't do bulk sales like that, anyways. But like, I mean, we could compete.
Easy, Red.
Compete with 80.
Let's wrap this up.
You know what I mean? Fucking A. But
They are still a family company, just FYI.
Yeah.
Talking
I couldn't find any
1947.
ownership other than themselves. So
J.R.
that's pretty
Peters
cool.
Inc., third generation now. 2016 is when the third
I
generation
couldn't
took
find
over.
out where they source all their shit though. Like, do you get it out of PA? Because PA is also a firework state, and they mine a lot of their like firework needs out of PA.
that sounds like conflicting industries right next to each other.
Yeah, fertilizer and fireworks. Pow, 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 pow. But that's the show. I'm going to bed. I'll see y'all.
Good night, guys.
Right.
guys.
Throw